Yeah, Coach, just dominant outing on the mound. You got some big hits in there as well. I know left some runners on the bases, but all in all, pretty good win for you. And what did you take away from the game?
Well, I'll say this. First of all, I thought Ryan McPherson, especially the fourth, fifth, and sixth inning, was outstanding. I think he made some of his best pitches of the night when his pitch count started to get up. And so that was great to see. Certainly, he was energized in that sixth inning to get through that inning, and that was the story right there. Gleason was great. Miller was great. Certainly we left some guys on base, but when you have 16 hits, right, you're not going to cash them all in all the time. Had some opportunities with bases loaded there, even if it's just a fly ball and not a ground ball, to get an extra run. But just, really proud of our guys' collective effort. Bryce Chance was really good in that 9-hole with 3 big hits, and Ryder Woodson had a couple. So total collective effort from an offensive standpoint, and to have a big offensive day, and 9 runs is a really good offensive day. You've got to do it throughout the lineup, and nobody was necessarily a star and hit the 3-run home run, but collectively as a group, they're pretty locked in.
Steve?
4 straight games with double-digit hits, and you mentioned you wanted to be more efficient with 2 outs and with 2 strikes. It seemed like tonight there was a little more of that. What are you seeing in those situations?
Yeah, I thought we certainly had some strikeouts, and Reed Stallman had 3 of them, but we have a lot of confidence in him, and I thought some guys, especially with 2 strikes, got some really big hits and some barrels for us. So that's really encouraging, and we need to keep at that, right? It's hitting's the hardest thing to do out there in sports, and you just continue to preach with guys to stay with it, stay with a good plan and a great approach, and the game comes back around to you if you do that. And they're college guys, and they love to play. They're energized. They're enthusiastic, and you just even if it's not going your way, you stick with it and have the right attitude. It's going to come back around to you. And I just thought, with 2 strikes tonight, I thought we were really, really exceptional.
Sam?
No, Sullivan didn't play again tonight. How's he just progressing with his rehab?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Noah's doing great. He took batting practice today for the first time. Felt really good. So just want to see how he gets up tomorrow morning and how he's moving around tomorrow. And I would imagine that if there's not any lingering effects from taking a full BP today, I would imagine that he would be in there tomorrow.
Doug?
Coach, for a redshirt freshman, Jack Gleason looks very cool, calm, and collected.
He does.
Is he perhaps the pleasant surprise of the team so far?
Well, I don't know if Jack Gleason is necessarily the pleasant surprise to his teammates and coaches, because that's what we've been seeing. Right, that's what we saw in the fall. That's what we saw in the preseason, and he's not going to light the radar gun up, from a velocity standpoint. But it's a fastball that gets on the hitters. It's only 90, 91 miles an hour, maybe touching 92, but it appears to them at 95, 96, and so you've seen that we brought him in a couple of situations, kind of high leverage situations already, and he's pounded the strike zone and done the job. And certainly to see him go out there tonight and throw the 7th inning like he did, and then a 2nd inning, was really encouraging. So we like Jack. He's done the job every time out there, and he'll continue to get the ball when you pitch like that.
Robbie?
Haven't seen a lot of home runs, but this has been a heavy doubles team. I think you are right around the top of the country in doubles now with 20, 21, whatever it is now. What's been your thoughts on the approach at the plate from your guys in that regard?
I think it's been good. Nobody goes up there intentionally to try to hit home runs. If you do that, you get yourself in trouble. But, those line drives and those doubles lead to home runs. And so I thought Ryder Woodson really got that ball good on that fly ball to left field, but the wind was slightly blowing across the field. If it's slightly blowing out, that ball's out of the ballpark. Andrew Raymond just misses one there. I think he thought he got it, but he didn't. So those will come. The home runs will come if our approach is right and you focus on hitting the ball forward as hard as you can.
Steve?
You don't really know your team till you get in one dugout, right? I mean, you have the inter squad and stuff. There's a leadership, kind of a caste system that kind of develops in the dugout. Who are the guys maybe with this meshed together team that are kind of stepping up and being the best teammates in game in the dugout?
Well, I think certainly Bryce Chance is one of those, for sure, from a position player standpoint. Aiden Teal is a guy that a lot of his teammates look at for enthusiasm and things like that, and he brings a certain level of energy every day. Garrett Fry, obviously, his teammates think a lot of him, and I'm just a big believer in a lot of guys showing leadership. But those guys, I know that their teammates think a lot of them.
Last question, Sam.
Andrew Raymond seems to be playing pretty well in back-to-back starts. What do you just like about his game right now?
Well, you all probably wonder, geez, this kid's caught the last 2 games. Why didn't he catch it all the first 4 games, right? But I'll tell you, he's got arm strength behind the plate. I think he can really impact the baseball offensively. There were some things we felt like he needed to clean up and improve on, and he's worked hard to improve on those. But in these 2 ball games, and really tonight, because I don't know how much we can take from Wednesday, but tonight he impacted the baseball really good. He's got great plate discipline. And so, the way he caught some of our really good arms on Wednesday, he earned the right to catch tonight. And, I'll think about it tonight and tomorrow morning, but the way he caught again tonight, caught McPherson and those other guys, and the way he handled his at-bats was very much like a veteran approach at the plate. And that's what we need more and more of, right? Guys handling the strike zone, and when they do get strikes, really aggressive passes, and he did that tonight. So.